Well, greetings, friends, Romans, and countrymen. Today, again, we are beginning the second day of the Ferronier by Leonardo da Vinci. Beautiful young woman, stunning, and immortalized by one of the greatest artists who ever lived. Pardon me, God. Anyway, that said, today I'm going to do a little bit on her. Before I finish her face, I think I'm going to go down here. I'm also going to do her eyes and her, see how far I get. So far I'm going to do her eyes and her mouth. And suffice it to say that Leonardo had a slightly different methodology of doing eyes. Therefore, I'm going to do it the way he did it, as opposed to the Baroques. And if you ask why, well, because that's the way he did it. Anyway. So I'm going to use a little bit of Payne's Gray to begin with. As I said, very little. I'll put a little retarder on that because, as is my want with acrylic, they constantly dry at blazing speed, which is good because that's the only way I can get so many glazes onto it. And I'm going to play a little bit. He's got just a hint of ochre in there. So I'm going to put a little ochre in. Using my bag of tricks here. And he's got a little bit of yellow for that luminosity in the eyes. There we go. And I'm using just the CAD yellow medium for that. Nothing serious. And let's see. I'm detecting the faintest little bit of pale violet. So I'm going to do that too. Put a little bit of pale violet down. Again, very little. Don't want to overdo it. We're only doing the eyes. And I'll give them a squirt of retarder, giving a bit more working time. And he also did a little bit of Van Dyke brown, and I could have sworn a little bit of Van Dyke brown that may have dried out. Oh, I do. Hallelujah. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of Van Dyke brown. Just a little bit. Oh yes, which is nice because the paint rescue from Believe program is well underway. Even though I had to throw half of them out because they had dried. But needless to say, so far so good. The ones that were, oh God, I got sap green. Son of a gun. Ah, things are looking up. Okay, so as you can see, my hand is as normal, been causing mayhem on the blank section of the canvas, but not to worry because that is going to be all covered up. So I'll start with a little bit of transparent white, and I want to put in just a smallest little smidgen of purple into the eye here. And over here. Again, we're not talking a lot, just a little bit that he had placed into the eye. There we go. So that will work just fine. And then he's gone, what he's done, he's got the smallest little bit of ochre, again with transparent white. Very little color here. And again, just a tad bit of purple in it. Just a touch. And I'm going to very gently throw that in as well. It goes under the eye, but which is fine. But I'm going to do that. Yes, this is what you would call exact painting. Okay, got a little bit of that in. I'll put another little coat of the purple in here. Build it up a little. He's got it over in the corner as well. I'll actually put it in here where it's much darker, but for an undercoat it'll come through, which is kind of what I want. So there we go. And while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to take some more ochre. Some more ochre. And a little bit of yellow. Again, this is undercoating the eye. And just, oh, I know what I'm missing. Of course, where is it? Well, I can use some, whoa, that's powerful, okay. Van Dyke Brown gave me a bit more than I'm looking for. So I'll add a little bit more yellow to it. And a little bit more. Jeez, come on. It's the right color combo. This could be, however, you know, sometimes it's the fact that not so much the colors that you analyze, because I'm analyzing the colors, frankly, in oil paint in my head. So it's not necessarily the fault, because some colors just don't translate into acrylic. You have to go down another road. And so you have to be ready for that, kind of. I haven't quite figured out why that is, though. Yeah, pigment should mix, but I don't know. Maybe it's the blending. I haven't quite figured out why certain color combinations don't work. I really haven't. Well, they work. It's just that they don't work in acrylic. So you have to find alternate colors, and I don't know. I don't know why. You think, right? Unless it's just a different formulation of pigment. It could be that. It could be as simple as that. But as it stands now, I just don't have a definitive answer for you. But I'm working on it. When I think about it, it's not a big deal because I know how to go there. But it's also just a tad puzzling. Just a tad. We'll see. I'll figure it out. Sooner or later, I'll look it up or I'll do something. And we'll have an answer for you. I have looked in terms of if it's been reported, and because there's so few people doing this, that doing the oil translations into acrylic, that there really isn't a lot of info that I've been able to find on the web. So I don't know if it's other people haven't run into it, or somebody out there is holding their tongue. Your guess is as good as mine. But it's a bit of a mystery. But the mystery will be solved sooner or later. I do suspect, though, in all sincerity, it has something to do with the composition of the baseline composition of the paint. That's doing it. That's what I think, anyway. Because there doesn't seem to be any other explanation that makes sense. But I don't know for sure, so I will hold off any definitive answer until I am absolutely sure. Because if somebody else somewhere is doing this, they might have figured it out. Which saves me a hell of a lot of time. Now you might say, you lazy son of a... And you'd be right. Because I figured it out. It's not so much lazy, it's just I have to be curious enough about it to go for gold, so to speak. And frankly, I'm just not that curious right now. I am and I'm not. I'm curious, but I'm not willing to spend a few days looking for that answer. Does that make sense? I hope so. I certainly hope so. I love Paris in Mary. I love Paris, springtime. Da, 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 da. I love Paris in the spring. There's an unexpected development. A very heavy lid on one side of the eye socket. Very heavy. Didn't notice that before. And she's got it on both sides. Okay. Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? Da, 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 Paris in the springtime. Yeah. So while I'm down here, I'm just going to put a little bit of shaping to the nose. Da, 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 da. I love Paris in the springtime. I love Paris in the springtime. I was going to attack that one a bit different way, but I have decided that no, I'll do it the way he did it. I mean, it's easy to chicken out, you know, when you're doing Da Vinci, because you can't assume the guy made any mistakes. And I sure haven't found any, so I was going to shortcut myself over to the other side of her nose, and now I'm not going to, because I'm assuming everything was done for a reason. Which with Da Vinci is a damn good assumption. Jeez, he did a reverse line in here. Son of a bitch. Okay. Tricky, tricky, tricky. And you didn't bother on that side. What else is new? Okay. Right over to there. I love Paris in the springtime. The thing is, when you got a Vermeer, once you kind of figure out how he paints, for instance, or any of those Baroque artists, even Rembrandt, once you figure out his style, then it's not as hard to paint. The trouble with Da Vinci is he's got so many things going on. Like, it's not really, I thought I put some paint spray out. I didn't? That's black. Huh, that's weird. Could have sworn that I did. No. I love Paris in the springtime. I love her. Oh, yo, Des 3, yo, how you doing, man? Or girl? I don't necessarily know who you if you're male or female, but it doesn't matter. It's nice to see it. I'm just ruminating about Da Vinci. Well, he was a master, I'll tell you. Giving me a run for my money, I'll tell you that. See, I'm trying to do an exact technique situation that he did. The problem is that you can't get a read on the style really, because he changes things. Like through here, he drops in a bit of ochre, and through here, and blends it so skillfully that it's see, with a Vermeer or Rembrandt or Swartz or whoever, you kind of get his style, and then you can just sort of go through and do it. With Da Vinci, oh God, man. The only style is the way the finished painting looks. That's really what it is. It's just whatever the finished painting looks like. But that's Da Vinci. That's why he's Leonardo da Vinci. Oh God, yeah. I know. Bugger's even got a little bit of... No, you know he's got mixed in there? I just saw it. Okay. I got you now. I got you. Where is it? Where is it? Hide on me, why don't you? Why the paint's drying. Oh my God, come on, where are you? Actually, this might work really well over here. So, I'll dig into my second find from the wilds of Belize. I haven't checked this paint, by the way, so I don't know if it's any good. If it isn't, well, huh? Seems okay. So, this is the color he went after. Okay. Well, Maestro, took a little bit of digging, but I found you. Now the question is, what's the other color? I gotta figure that one out. Okay. And I swear he's got some glue in it. So just to be I'm going to see if I can dig out some phthalo blue shade. Okay. Phthalo. There we are. Again, I'm not mixing very much paint up, and for obvious reasons. I mean, lots of colors, but very little bit of oh great, I got extender on me. Isn't that sweet? Okay. Okay, so you've got a bit of that blue shade. I'm going to put a fire in, a little bit of pains into that. A little bit more. Made it a little bit too gray. Damn, I think I'm close. Okay. If not, well, what's the worst that can happen? I just have to paint it over again. Ah. Paris in the morning. I love Paris. Springtime. I love Paris in the springtime. Paris in springtime. Yes, I love Paris in springtime. No, I am taking such pains to save that little highlight. I mean, God, it's only just a speck of white. Oh well. What can one do but follow one's instincts? I love Paris in the springtime. I love Paris in the springtime. Da, da, da. I love Paris in the springtime. Da, 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 da. I see it in there. Jesus. You're not making it easy. You're not making it easy, man. That's okay. If it's easy, I'm not interested. You know that. Da, 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 da. And now what he does is he takes the slightest bit of transparent white and he fires it in over here to get that color to come up. I love da, 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 and he comes right around. Bugger, okay. Yes, who invented the catch light? Well, I would say Leonardo was the guy who figured it out. Gotta admit, like his powers of observation must have been just astonishing. Because I would say he painted most of his, like a lot of it, some of the sort of subtle stuff, he would have painted in daylight, but you couldn't have painted every minute of it in daylight, so he had to know or observe the colors that were being fired at him. And that in itself is amazing. I'm getting carried away over here, okay. We want a bit of ochre. Ochre and a bit of yellow, mostly ochre, and a little bit of sienna. There we go. Da, 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 although he's got that orange in there, my gut tells me he's got just a tad of this color too. In the springtime. Da, 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 da. I did paint out that a second, by the way. Highlight. I have to put it back in. For now, I painted it. I love Paris in the springtime. Come on now. I want some Payne's Gray here. Every time you think he's going to follow a rule, he breaks it. Jesus. Man. Yeah, you were making up the rules. That's what the problem is. You're the guy who made the rules. Or one of them, anyway. Thus, you experimented a little, and your rules were a work in progress. That makes sense. You glaze color in over top to give him that beautiful look. And even put a little bit of this catch light down here in the border. Which I just put in, but I put it in too thin. Da, 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 da. I love Paris in the springtime. Oh, I love Paris in the springtime. So what I'm doing here is I'm second guessing again. Oh, I know. Didn't I learn my lesson? Well, yeah, I did, but what the hell? And I'm putting in a bit of the catch light, though. Don't experiment with Da Vinci, they said. Or they used to say. As my teacher would say, if you want to paint like the master, paint like him. Don't experiment. He knew what he was doing. And you know what? He did. Don't do it. Don't do it. You'll be sorry. Yeah, but take kind of a bit of the fun out of it, right? I mean, like even master forgers will throw a little bit of. They might put themselves in the picture somewhere. Nobody ever notices. Well, they eventually notice, I suppose. They go over a square centimeter by centimeter. But it's been known to happen. I can't remember that guy. He was the British forger. That's what he did. Yeah. I don't remember what his answer is, but I can guess. It's like, well, why not? Which is kind of the point. Like, yeah, why not? Come on over. Oh, behave. Okay, draw a Van Dyke brown in there just to knock it back a tad. There we go. It's in the springtime. Oh, don't tell me no, it's not what I must have done. Okay, there it is. Jesus. There we go. Thought I had not put any extender on the slight purple that he throws into his eye. The eyes. But I did! Yahoo! Now, I have to mix up some more eye color, so I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in it. And as usual, the minute you put a cad yellow on anything, it takes over. Now, some may think this is a tad obsessive, and in terms of getting the color or whatever I want, but really it's not. It's just getting it right. It's not obsessive. I promise you it's not. Because if it's not right, I mess with it I can mess with it for days. And sometimes it takes days to figure out the configuration. Like, I was doing the Vermeers on here, I did it. The girl with the red hat. And it's just a little wee painting. I think it took me 11 hours straight painting to figure out how to get the exact right shadow tone on the skin. And let me tell you, it took that long. Which was, some may say, yeah, slightly obsessive, but I got it. So every time I look at it, or it's not here anymore, but I see a picture of it, I go, oh yeah, I got it. I got it. So you kind of put a little mental notch in your art belt, so to speak. You go, yeah, I got you. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. You can fool some of the people some of the time, and all of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. Da, 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 da. I'm just putting that in there because I haven't got any titanium out right now, so that's transparent white I'm talking about. Now, instead of putting in a shadow, I'm using the underpainted eye color for my shadow. Which is kind of like well, that's the way he did it, so. But from what I'm seeing, he wasn't really big on eyebrows. Well, he did a little bit, not a lot. Like, not enough to make a statement, so to speak. Get out of there. Da, 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 da. I love Paris in the morning. I love. Now, I'm going to put her lips in. With just garden variety flesh tone. And there's a reason for this. And the reason is because he again has such an absolutely huge mastery of color that I have to figure it out, but I want to get the shapes in and basically underpaint it. And then I'll begin the lips to tone them up and down as needed. I love Paris in the morning. I love Paris in the spring. I love Paris. Da 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 da. I love Paris in the morning. Oh, behave. You're still alive, I can tell. This is way too dark, and I'm going to have to put some brown into it. And since I have Van Dyke brown, I'm going to use that. Okay. Okay. Yes, I know. More Van Dyke brown. Okay. So, he gets rid of the cutest little Mona Lisa treatment over here. And then he comes down very sharply. And then he comes back up with a bit of a shadow. And then he goes out again. And then he comes back up with that Mona Lisa smile he loves so much. Do you either? And either? Do you? Mona Lisa. Da 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 da. Lisa. Are you? Oh God, the tone is so faint. I just. Da, 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 da. Are you real or just imagination? Mona Lisa. Are you real? Just a Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa. Did you smile? Lisa. Lisa. Did you oh, just rather. 'Cause I know we use vermilion on your lips, dear. I can tell oh too well. It's Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa. One thing you gotta remember to do as well, is make sure you try as close as you can to the colors that he used. You know, like, don't start firing phthalo colors in and stuff like that. Unless you're just doing it because you want it. You know. If you're trying to do like a really accurate representation, don't do that. Don't do it. Because it'll screw it up. Unless, of course, as I say, you want it screwed up. And then fire away. That's why you don't see me going to phthalo colors very often. Very rarely, as a matter of fact. They didn't have those colors. I might shortcut it if I'm doing feathers or something. And I don't want to build up the contrast to the point where it's going to take me forever to do it. You know, I might drop in some phthalo and it's like that situation. But by and large, no. Nothing on the skin or face or anything like that. Just don't do it. I don't do it, I should say. You can do what the hell you want. But if you want my advice, don't do it. You find it becomes impossible to get what you're looking for. And now, thanks to the online galleries being so nice as to putting these extremely high resolution photos on 1280. Hey Jen, how are ya? Good to see ya. How you been? I've been absent without leave for a few days. Yeah, well, that's why I stopped streaming for a week and a half or so. I just got bogged down so bad that I just couldn't keep up with it, so I had to let something go. Well, unfortunately, it was Twitch until I got caught up, and I'm caught up now. So, thank you. So I know exactly what you mean. My God, it ended up doing some restorations. I did some I don't know what it is, but when I do restoration, even if it's only a few hours, man, does it use up a lot of art gas. You know, like it empties my tank. I don't know what it is, but you know, I guess it's like when I restore a painting, it's way harder to me anyway than doing my own stuff, because you've got to, you know, you got to match what they did, and then you've got to figure out their brush strokes, and yeah, you know what I mean. But it seems to multiply times 3. So if I spend 4 hours on it, it's like painting for 12 hours. Does that make sense? Jesus, just something else. But it works out, you know. So what have you been doing? Lots of commissions and stuff like that, I hope. I hope. I gotta drop by and say hi to Pink. She must think I dropped off the planet. I finished her portrait off camera. But, and Russ Stewart, oh God almighty. I know Russ is there because he follows me on Facebook. So when I post something, I see him. But Jesus, I gotta, a few commissions, some design. Yeah, well, also too, as you know, I've got like 6 students right now, so that chews up. You know, it's like it chews up time as well. It's just that, you know, when you see them start to blossom, it's just, man, it's the greatest feeling in the world for me. You start to go, wow, you're doing good. And one of my young students is probably the most natural portrait artist I've ever seen in my life. Unbelievable. I never saw anything like it. She's only 16, my God. But you know, they all have that artist angst, right? Oh yeah, I got more than that. I got 7, 8, I don't know. Anyway. But you know, like it's you know, you need infinite patience, and because they're all young artists, you know, they've got all that artist angst, and you got to sort of work. It's not just the art; you got to work them through like their heads as well. Like, am I going to be good enough to? What can I do? You know, like nobody understands me. You're the only guy I can talk to. All of that stuff. Anyway. But when they start to blossom, man alive, when they start to really come alive with their art, There's nothing like it. It's like growing a flower. Oh, well, you know what I'm talking about then, when they finally start to just get it, you know? It's like a rose blooming, you know? Just, oh, nothing like it. And yeah, I just love it. And funny enough, a lot of them stay in, well, over the years, a lot of them they stay in touch with me, eh? So I've God, one is down one works for, what's that big digital company? Oh God. Not DreamWorks, what is it? Oh, anyway. And a couple work in the gaming field and concept art and stuff like that. So it's cute, eh? I see sometimes, like, well, they're not kids anymore, but they'll email me and say, what do you think of this one? This is the newest one. What do you think? I'm always blown away. One works for Ubisoft. What is the name of that? Disney owns it. They do all animation for Disney. What the hell's the name of that company? Pixar! That's it, Jen. That's it. Pixar, yeah. They work for that company. One's over in Japan working for, I don't know the name of it. One's over in Japan. She was really good. She, Dakota. God, she was good. And, well, it wasn't just me. Obviously, she got hired by one of those big anime companies. You know, I have no idea what name is in Japanese, so. But it's, yeah, it's really cool. I mean, when you hear from them, you know, like, and they're, hell, one of them even came and stayed with me. God, I can't believe it. I asked her. I said, "Okay, geez. So now that you're like 20-something," she goes, "Paul, I'm 28 years old now." I go, "Oh my God, don't tell me that. I feel old, man. I feel old. Now you made me feel old." Anyway, she's just finished a movie, her own movie. So she's having it edited, and it's being edited over in England by I think it's ITV or something? I don't know. But she's an editor extraordinaire. I never saw anything like it. She's got an eye like you would not believe for film. I never knew what to do with that kid too, because, you know, when I was teaching her, she bloomed real early, like when she was like 12 years old, really early, but it didn't keep growing. It just sort of plateaued for so, but she had the eye, you know, so I kind of steered her into other art forms, right? So like film and stuff like that, and now she's away to the races. Unbeknownst to her, by the way. I didn't make it obvious that I was doing that, but which is my one, you know. But the plan worked, because she's doing I never saw anybody who could do that. So she does stuff for like music videos, and oh my God, it's unbelievable. But she's French from France, so she's on her way through. So she stayed and visited with me overnight. last Monday. Yeah. What a refreshing. The energy, enthusiasm. But then she, as I say, then she told me she was 28, and I went, oh my God. Oh my God. I'm getting old. 28 years old. I said, no way. It's not possible. Seems like yesterday. You were a little girl coming with your folio bag. Oh God. Mind you, realistically, I'm fooling myself because I did spend 4 years in Belize, so it's not as if I was around either for 4 years. But well, art is a form of expression and wonder. The beam isn't locked in stone, just drawing a painting. I love when it's sculpture. Yeah, well, exactly. Whether it's sculpture. Oh, and one of my ex-students just got. He just told me last week. He just got a professorship at Sheridan College, which is the Disney in Toronto. Is where Disney recruits all its students from the animation program. So I'm really happy for him. God damn, he bounced around for a long time. But yeah, he ended up doing really well. Happy for him. He was a sculptor, though. I mean, his drawing no, but sculpting, God damn, that guy could sculpt. He just had it in him, 3-dimensional, you know, like amazing. Just amazing sculpture. But he's doing okay for himself too. So I mean, the ones that are. That's just off the top of my head. I'm sure some of them don't keep in touch either. You know, that's the other thing. You know, sometimes I see their name or something somewhere, and I'll go, oh, I wonder if that's so and so. And so yeah, it depends. The thing is, some of them I taught for so long. That was the other thing too, like years. And so, you know, you really build up a relationship. Others I taught for a year or so. Then they moved on or moved away or some damn thing or ran out of money. It could be anything. Yeah. But I always wonder, you know, like sometimes when I see it. Also, too, you know, over the years I've developed some connections too. Like I've had connections in the bigger name films, like you know, guys who do the big stuff. Like I'm good friends with the guy who did, well, the movie that comes to mind was Starship Troopers. He did that movie. But he's retired now. But, you know, he knows people. So if I've got somebody who's really good, I can at least get them their toe in the door, you know. Yeah, Michael Michael works for Pixar. He never sends me anything though, because I taught him like fine art. I didn't teach him anime or anything like that. He just loved it, but I wouldn't teach to him. I made him learn everything the old-fashioned way. He realizes now that was a good thing, but at the time, oh man, it was a battle. But like I remind him every time I hear from him, so what do you think? Was it a good idea? Don't remind me. Thank you. Yes, 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 yes. You want me to say you learned it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to hear it again, Mike. Come on. So let's just say it. Anyway, it's fun. And he loves California. God almighty. But I just heard from him about 6 months ago, and he took a position in Texas somewhere with Pixar. I don't know what. So I thought, holy Moses, you're actually going to leave California? And yeah, he did. He went to he's in Texas, which led to a whole new round of jokes, you know, like but it's fun. Those were the days, right? Oh. Next time I'm talking to Mike, I'll drop you a whisper. Now he's in Pixar. Is that Lucasfilm? I don't. Is that the same thing? If you want, I can speak to him, see what he says. You're looking for somebody, or I can ask him to take a look at your portfolio and stuff. I can do that if you want. I don't talk to him every day, but when I do get her from him, I can certainly ask him to. That's how that's how the French girl got started. It was just dropped her name in, said, "What do you think?" And well, I don't hear from him like every day. So I mean, when he does, I'll drop. If you know, when he drops me a line, I'll say, "Hey, Mike," and ask him for a favor. He'll do it. He's a good kid. As I say, he just went to Texas, so I didn't know. I wasn't even. Well, I guess they have studios everywhere. I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised when I think about it. It's digital. Who cares where you're sitting, right? But anyway, he was he turned into a California kid. He loved it. That's why I was so surprised. But then again, he's not 20 years old anymore. You know, he's older. But it's not a bother. All I gotta do is just say to him, "I know somebody. Would you mind looking at the portfolio? If you want, it's up to you." And if he says sure, well, there you go. If he goes no, then there you go too. I can't speak for him, but I can always ask. As I said, that French girl, that's how she got into film. she also ended up with like the job of a lifetime, which is she works for a Toronto-based film company, and she does. I'll be honest with you, I don't know exactly what part of it she does, but she works. I think it takes her like 25 hours a week to do, and she can be anywhere in the world to do it. So when she was here, she was doing a little bit of it, and she just sends the attachment, right? So, which is a fabulous way. So that's why she's got, and it's equivalent of a full-time job, and she says it's about 25 hours a week. I said, oh man. But I know they're based in Toronto. I don't know anything else about them. I know the guy's name, but I don't know what they do. It's something to do with film, I don't know. But she edits as well, so who knows? You know, we have a decent art scene in town, gallery-wise, but not far as digital or anything. Like, are you in the West? Oh, you're in Virginia. Oh, okay. Nothing, eh? Well, the thing is, you know, like with the net, like the trouble is you got to be careful when you put stuff out there, because you know everybody's a thief in digital. Oh my God, it's terrible. Every time you turn around, somebody's grabbing something you did and saying, "Oh, look what I came up with." So I know you got to be really careful where you put stuff. Because I don't remember which one it was, but one of my students told me when they send a file, they encrypt it. Can you imagine encrypting a file? Yeah, the trouble is you know, you and I both know somebody good with Photoshop can remove watermarks in a split second. Even the digital watermark in the code you can get out. It's unbelievable. And yeah, that's one of my students said to me when they send a file for a review or whatever. They encrypt it, and I don't know. Ah, that's a good move. That's a really good move. Actually, yeah, you could probably bury your signature in a color and nobody would ever see it. You color match it, or take one tone up or something that the eye couldn't see. That would work. I'm old school, so. So I don't, it's no worry to me, but I do know it's a big concern to the people in the business. Especially the people who are creating stuff. God almighty. It's open season. But you know, I've noticed on the net though, there's a few more online galleries opening up. That is a good idea. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, that's the only way to do it. But for digital stuff, I've noticed there's more and more stuff online that people are selling digitally. Now, I don't know if that's a trend or it's just becoming more of an accepted art form, or I don't know. Like, I've noticed a lot more in the last year or so. which is good. I mean, if you're digital, yeah. So. So, I mean, people are, even one of the art sites I put my art on is called Art Finder. It's one of my digital art galleries I put my stuff on. It's not very expensive, but I think it's like 50 bucks a year. I don't know. It's 50 bucks a year or something. Oh, yeah. Good. Somebody finally gets goddamn caught. That's the trouble. And, but, you know, like, the trouble is, though, I had a, years ago, well, in the 90s, I decided to take a bunch of my images and make greeting cards. The money was really good, actually. I was more than happy. I mean, I made my money out of it. So in other words, I've never, it was a great thing to do at the time. But this is what, the reason I'm telling you this is one time somebody brought in a card and it had my image on it. And they had stripped everything off at signature and everything and all that stuff. And my image, and but it was the same paper, the same, it was, oh, whatever the card stock is, you know, with the semi-gloss on it. And you had it, I had it commercially printed, so, you know, 4-color, like offset. So I ran like 30,000 cards at one time. But anyway, long story short, this person brings in, says, "Is this my picture?" And I looked at it, and I went, "Yeah, it is." And then they showed me the card, and what they wanted was a print of the picture on the card. This is in the 90s when that kind of stuff was, prints were still considered art, you know. Anyway, I look at it and it's my card, but I didn't produce it. It wasn't produced with me. And so I took the information on the back of the card down, and I finally traced it to Taiwan, if you can believe it. And then I contacted a lawyer just for a consultation, and he gave me great advice. He said, just forget it. You're never going to stop it. You're never going to put them in a business. You're never going to do it. It's impossible. He says, he told me the minute it goes out there is the minute somebody is going to start that kind of crap. I went, you gotta be shitting me. He went, nope. I shit you not. And yeah, that's what happened. And so I kind of made a mental note to myself, you know, like, don't bend out of shape. Just accept it as part of doing business. And that's what I did. And how many they sold like that, I have no idea. Their market would have been Australia and the Far East, and Japan and all that stuff. I have no idea how many cards they actually sold. But I do know I didn't get a red cent for it. But I still did really well in that business. So I'm not complaining. It was a very lucrative business. But it always kind of pissed me off that, you know, somebody was stealing right under my nose, right? Well, not under my nose. Right on, not... And you don't know how many they've done. Like, they might have done 500,000 cards. And like, I had 8 images in the set. The set that they had stolen. And so you don't know. Like, you start thinking, God, is everything being stolen? Because if your cards did really well, guess what? They're looking to steal some more. So you're on their image list, so to speak. But the lawyer said, there's nothing really you can do. Like, you can spend all your money going after them, but if they're in a foreign country, you might as well, as he said, piss into the wind. And at the time, I didn't like the advice, but you know what? He was right on the money. But there was no SD back then. Yeah, that's exactly the problem. You come up with a really good design, and I found out, I did look into it pretty deep, and I found out that they only have to change it. I think if I recall, is 30%, and then they can basically copy your stuff legally. And I went, oh my God. That's why when I sell a painting, I say, and by the way, just because you own the painting does not mean you own the rights to it. So if you're thinking about, well, you know what, I'll buy this painting and make a whole bunch of copies and sell them because I think it's so good, don't do it, because I'll know. That usually throws people for a loop. And once in a while I've had people say, well, I don't want it then. Well, okay, but at least I know what your plan was. Actually, I had a woman from Belize. Believe it or not, I sold a painting down there. One of my top end pieces. It was like a Vermeer. And I posted it. I think I posted it, like a print of it, like you could buy a print of it. And she actually, get a load of this, she actually emailed me and said, wait a second, I thought I owned that I think I own that painting. And I said to her, no, you do own the painting, but you don't own the rights to it. And obviously that's what she was figuring on doing. I didn't know at the time, because in Belize, it's, you know, like, Jesus, it's certainly not a first world country, let me put it that way to you. But that, obviously, what she had in mind either was to sell prints of it, and she thought by buying it was hers. So she made the fatal flaw. She said, I thought I bought that painting. She didn't do her homework. Oh well. And since I got top dollar out of her, I didn't care. But that doesn't mean it'll stop her. It just means she won't be able to sell them in the US or Canada. Because I have galleries that, if they see it or it gets in a catalog, will let me know. You get that after a while. Yeah, I just, like for instance, I just got the cover of a magazine called, the magazine company's called The Strand. No, Strand, not The Strand. Strand magazine. They're on the internet. The cover was for a one of those handout magazines they give you if you're in the tourist board and stuff. So lots of guaranteed handouts, right? So I thought, yeah, that's not a bad deal. But I thought about it and I went, oh, should I take a chance? And I did do it. It's on the cover. But the reason I took the chance is that's a sold out print run. So I really can't make any more. I mean, I sold it out in the 90s, so you can get a print of it, but you're sure as hell not going to get it as a print run. And if somebody sees it, they're not going to be mad at me. They're going to be mad at whoever did it. So I can do an open stock print on it, I suppose. Anyway, I thought twice about it, but you know, it's free publicity too, right? So yeah, that's exactly what you do. But if it's a numbered print, when it's sold out, it's sold out. But then you can just sell ordinary prints, and I do that. But I discount them way down, right? So. And I still have the original. Because once it sells out, there's always somebody out there who goes, well, what about the original? That always happens. So I'm waiting. And I've been asked a number of times, but it ain't cheap. Let me just put it that way. Nope. You want it, you gotta pay. I am not a charity artist. Charity doesn't enter at all. But I've heard it all over the years, you know, like, well, you can just paint another one. Oh, really? Okay. But I have to paint it. Okay, I get it. I see where you're coming from. Idiots, you know? People have no idea the effort it takes, right? I like that story about the Scottish one. Well, yeah, you're in digital. I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, that there's no problem with that. But the numbered print gambit is gone. It's over. You know, like the con was finally discovered. I remember one time going into a gallery, actually here in Oakville, that represented me, and they had a Bateman print out there. This is when I knew it was over, and the goddamn guy, the numbers were 1 of 50,000, 50,000, and he was selling them as if they were like original, like people conning people. I think they were buying something that was worth something. 1 of 50,000. Can you imagine? In fact, he would do that and not even to start the print run until he had people he had deposits of all the people who wanted the print. And I thought, oh my God, man, it's over. It's over, man. It was over. I said, yeah, you killed the golden goose. People aren't gonna. You can fool some of the people some of the time. You know? Got so goddamn greedy. And then a guy went to school with James Lumbers. You can look him up on the internet. You've probably seen his work. I went to school with him. He really did well in the print business. And I remember that I met him in a gallery opening one time. And he said, I've got a great idea. And I said, oh, okay. And what he did, he took all his numbered prints and he reproduced them just with a signature on the print. And he produced thousands and thousands of them. Well, don't you know, like, I don't know, 6 months, a year later, he's on the local news. Not him, but the local news has picked up the story, and here he's in front of an incinerator burning all these prints. I go, what the hell is going on? So I looked into it, and what happened was people really, really went nuts on him. Said, I bought this for $200, and you're selling the same print with your signature on it for like $99. You told me it was an investment. Oh my God! So it all blew up in his face. I mean, he was a damn good artist, but I don't know. James wasn't really that. Jim wasn't a greedy type of guy when I knew him. And I don't think he still is, but I think what happens is the marketing people, the marketing people, they come in and they sell them on an idea, and they go, well, yeah, okay, I get it, and that's okay. And they go, oh, yeah, it's okay. And but it's the artist who's left holding the bag, right? And that's what happened to him. And I kind of felt sorry for him, because when I knew him, like he was an artist. He wasn't like a greedy artist type thing. He wasn't a guy. He was there, and still is really good painter. He's a bit older than I am, but I knew him in art school pretty well, and so I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. I said, no, that's not. I don't think it's him. But it's true, people, they do come to you and they'll go, well, if you want to make some real money, and they got nothing to lose, right? What's a print run if you're at a print company or something? Nothing. Sad, but what are you going to do? Somebody comes to you and says, man, you're not maximizing your potential in this fabulous painting you did. First of all, you're flattered. And you go, oh, wow, jeez, yeah. Would you like to make more money on that painting? Well, yeah, but outside of selling the original, I'm kind of... And they go, oh, no, we have a plan. Oh, okay. You can do that? Yeah, okay, well. You go for it, and then when it hits the fan, they're nowhere to be found. And you're left holding the bag, and I think that's exactly what happened to him. And I think his sister-in-law or something was one of the directors of it, or whatever they are at the local. Well, it's national here, but this was a local story that I saw this on. They must have, he must have pulled in a giant family favor. Don't worry, I've destroyed them all. There are no more, don't worry. But you know what? I don't think he ever recovered, because I haven't seen his stuff for a while. But if you look at this, James Lumbers. James Lumbers. 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 He had a good thing going, too. It's funny, too. Like, I can remember I was getting a critique done. And he was right in front of me getting a critique done. And I didn't see him. But I knew he'd been there, because one of his big paintings was still on the wall, or on the... Actually, it was too big for an easel. It was on the wall. And he'd had his critique, and it was the same style as he painted all these years. Like, it's never wavered. He found his niche, and boy, he never left. It was hilarious. I went, oh my God, you're still painting the same stuff. But mind you, he did make a hell of a killing doing it. So I'm when I say that, I'm a little wistful because I wish I thought of it. But no, it was his idea. If you look him up on the net, you can see him, James Lumber's art. He was everywhere. You've probably even seen some of his work. It's been featured everywhere. But he and it always killed me. Like, it was an original that I saw after the thing. I probably could have bought it for like 25 bucks back then. That'd be like 1970. You know, I could have bought it for next to nothing. And when he was hot, I could have sold it for a fortune. But and when I say fortune, I don't mean like a Leonardo da Vinci fortune, but I could have sold it. I could have got some heavy-duty dough for it. I don't know. Who cares? Ultimately, who cares? You just do your thing. You know? Be happy that you can do this. Every artist should be like that. Just be happy that you got talent, because not many people do. Yeah, he's the one who started it, and I know that for a fact because I saw it in 1970 hanging on the wall. So he's the guy who was the first to get that idea, and he sold like hotcakes. It was particularly heavy-duty sales for him. Like from 1985 to about 1992, 93. And the reason for that was that's when like a lot of people died of old age at that point in time, which was the first wave of the yuppies going through where their parents were dying. And it was a kind of a nostalgia binge. That's when the Victorian stuff was in and all that stuff, and it made sense because of the bulge and the yuppies coming through, and he was there right in the right place at the right time. God, just it was unbelievable the amount of work he sold. But power to him. But it was him. I'll never forget that painting. It was an Indian standing over at a fire, and in the ghost image was like a full regalia Indian from 100 or some odd years ago with him. You know, like at the fire doing this. I never forgot the picture. I went, is that ever cool? But being young and foolish, it never occurred to me to do a few of my own. God, would he have been pissed off? Hey, it's my idea. Stop that. No, I wouldn't do that though. If they're long dead, I'll do it, but I won't do it if they're not. Like, I don't have any problem doing a Da Vinci. The guy's been gone for 500 years. I mean, after all, there's a limit, right? But a guy that's around, no, I wouldn't do that. Just like I hope they wouldn't do it to me. Da, 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 da. I'll tell you one thing. Da Vinci was a great painter. Man. You know what really struck me though when I got back from Belize after 4 years in the third world, I should say. What really struck me was the imaging that was available. Well, basically for free, right? Like on Wikipedia and whatnot. What I mean is the quality of the imaging. Like I'm doing this painting, and I'm looking at an image that is like 1080, I guess, whatever it is on the monitor, and I'm so close up to her face, I can basically see. Well, he doesn't have any brush strokes, but if he did, I could see the brush strokes, which I did see with Vermeer, believe it or not. I could see the actual brush strokes. And before I went to Belize, the 4 years prior to that, it was not like that. It really wasn't. It was like, you had to find a good reference photo for a photograph, or you never can get it from the museum. They wouldn't give it to you because they've got control of everything. And outside of traveling with a sketchbook and a pair of those binocular eye things, you're cooked. But now, man, that's why I started doing these, because I went, oh my God, the quality. Drew Strutson? I don't know if I know him. I don't know him personally, I mean. I'll have to look him up. Drew Strutson. Hold on. I can look him up right now. What am I saying? See how technically unproficient I am? Let me just take a quick look. Drew Strutson. Give me a sec, Jen. I'm just getting it done here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen his stuff. He's got a real, yeah, he's very good. I like him because of the way he incorporates airbrushing into his work. It really gives it that extra push, right? Yeah, he's everywhere. In fact, I think he's one of the top poster artists there is. Isn't that the situation? Because you see his work, like his style everywhere. I don't know if it's all his, but I'm just saying that that style of poster, it's got to be him. Just got to be. You're right, though. I've seen a ton of his work. Yeah, acrylics, oil, pencil, charcoal. Yeah, exactly. One of the reasons I kind of like his stuff is because he freely admits to doing that. And to me, when I was taught by like artists who were trained like in the 40s, the 1940s, or maybe even earlier somehow, but they always stressed the image is the thing. Like, don't worry about how you got there. Just make sure that it's goddamn great. And that's been lost somehow. I don't know. Like a lot of art schools and whatnot, like they talk about multimedia like it's like a curse or something. Like, and who gives a shit how you get there? Really? Why would anybody care? It's the end. It's the end result that matters. To my mind, I like who cares? I don't give a shit if you drew it with kangaroo blood. It doesn't matter to me. If I think the image is good, it's good. I mean, for me. So I don't quite understand the logic, but you hear it all the time. Like even some of the students I have, they'll say, well, they say you shouldn't use this with this. Why? I'll tell you a little secret. Jesus, just don't tell anybody. But when I do a restoration job on an oil, I ain't got no time. Yeah, they do become elitist. Except that they got to run into guys like me who I never find people like that who really know much about art. I really don't. They just know a little bit about something and they want to know everything about it. But the minute you move out of their comfort zone, they start to squirm. Well, I forgot what I was going to tell you now. Okay. I don't know. Whatever it was, doesn't matter. Couldn't have been important anyway. But that's exactly, you're right. It's these elitists. I actually enjoy running into those people. I really do. Because I make a beeline for them. Oh, really? Really? But boy, there's lots of those out there. Actually, the ones I go after the most, though, are the watercolor purists. Oh my God, they don't want to talk to me. I'll tell you. They really don't. The benefits of a classical art education is that you know your stuff, right? So if you want to talk art about watercolor, then and how it originated and who used it and who explored all the techniques of using it and all that stuff and the early stuff and what they did and whatnot, man alive, last man standing, you're in for it. But there's so many people out there who want to start categorizing things. Like to them, it seems as if there has to be a category. Like whoever said that art needed a category? Like, who's that idiot? Like, that's what I want to know. Who's that? Like, who said that? But it's, there's lots of them, I'll tell you. The biggest fights I get into with other people who do what I do, well, I wouldn't say fights, I don't really mean that, but is the group who says your reference has to be right in front of you. And I get this all the time. And I say to them, I say, okay, so if I want to draw a mountain, you're saying I have to get on a plane, go out to Alberta, to the Rocky Mountains, and I gotta stand there and sketch it and then fly home and to do the mountain. And that's essentially what they're saying. And I go, are you out of your effing mind? But I was taught by a woman in school that was like that. And that's exactly what I ended up telling her. Are you out of your effing mind? Oh yeah, well, the oil painting elitist. Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, that's the whole point. What I'm trying to say, like, what do you think photography is? I mean, I just don't get the logic flow. I mean, you use what's available to you, and at the end of the day, if you do a fabulous painting, nobody says to you, oh, did you fly out there to sketch it first? Nobody cares. So why do they care? Nobody cares. They're buying it because they love the image. And they don't seem to grasp that. Art isn't about process, it's about end result. If the image is fabulous, then who cares how it was created? That's what my point is with all that stuff. Like, it doesn't matter. Really. I mean, does anybody really believe that Michelangelo called God down to pose for the creation of Adam on the Sistine Chapel? You know, like, please. Let's get real here. But again, you know, this is the prevailing dickheads. That's exactly what they are. Dickheads. And you know what I also find, though? That 99% of the time, it's somebody who isn't an artist. It's somebody with an opinion, but really they can't draw. All they have is an opinion. And that really bugs me. How can you have an opinion, really, about art unless you do it? If you're a painter and you've got an opinion, I'll listen to you. But I'm not going to listen to somebody who can't even paint. Or can't create, I should say. That's what I mean. You know, they just don't know how to create art. Because really, there's nothing they can say that I'm interested in. Because they have no clue what it takes to do it. If you create art, you understand that, right? Anybody who creates art understands. But if you don't create art, you're hangers on. That's my opinion. And if I find out they can't paint, the discussion's over. I can't be bothered. And they always say it the same way. That's the other part that kills me. Well, I dabble in watercolor. What does dabble mean? Does dabble mean you can't paint? Because if that's what you're saying, this discussion's over. It's funny though, they always use the same line. I don't know why. I dabble in watercolors. I remember one of them saying that to me. And I said, oh, really? You dabble, do you? Okay. Yeah. When you think about it, it's so stupid. Oh yes, this I have the definitive answer regarding art here, and this is the way it should be, and this is the way it is. And by the way, I'm not an artist, but that I have my opinion. Well, okay, but you're not an artist, so what does your opinion count for? Less than zero. It's just like, when you watch those shows, like on TV, like you see those guys art critics who review art, like in some of those shows, like Antique Roadshow and stuff like that. Exactly. Or they haven't the talent. That's the other thing. But you see these guys in the Antique Roadshows, and I gotta admit, I've done an awful lot of reading on art history, and that's what I was taught and all that stuff. But what really kills me is I'm watching those guys, and often if they're not artists, but they're art critics. You listen to them talk about a listed artist, like Winslow Homer or something, and they use the almost exact same lines as critics used 100 years ago. They just update it. And I have one of those brains that I can remember the text and all that stuff. And I go, oh my god, it's pathetic. You're like, oh my god. Like, how pathetic are you? I just killed myself laughing. I go, oh my god, you're so pathetic. You don't even have an original bone in your body. You're quoting a long dead source. Plagiarizing, verbally plagiarizing. I go, oh my god. There was a big art critic about 25 years ago. His name is Jeffrey Nahum in Britain. And everybody wanted Jeffrey's opinion on any type of art. He actually was on the staff of the Victoria and Albert Museum. Very prestigious posting, I gotta tell you. Well, that was before they found out that he had authenticated a whole bunch of fakes, unbeknownst to him, by the way. Completely destroyed his reputation. Completely. And I thought, well, if you can be fooled, then you're not much of an art critic. I thought, you asshole. How in God's name did you get away? How did you get this gig, right? So, Jeffrey Nahum. Then one day they ambushed him on the roadshow because he was doing one of his appreciation of art talks on the actual roadshow. And the guy asked him, well, how is it, Jeffrey, that you were so fooled by this person? And you could tell that it was unscripted because he turned white, and it was just like, we just found out that your mother is an orangutan or something. Like, oh my god. It was painful to watch. And then he never showed up again. Oh well. Happens, I guess In fact, I don't know where he is now. Maybe he's still with Victoria and Albert. They're a bunch of assholes too. I don't like any of them, to be honest with you. But that's what they're like. But modern authenticating techniques are putting them all out of business. I know Nahum got nicked because he missed out. He missed out on. Well, he said he authenticated the painting, but when they checked it through spectrography and all that stuff, you know, took a sample of the paint and all that stuff, they found out that there was titanium white in it. Well, when the artist painted that picture, there was no titanium white. So they said, well, wait a minute, there's a big problem here. They didn't have titanium white back then. So right away they knew it was fake. So they called in Peter Nahum, who goes, no, that can't be. Oh, well, the science doesn't lie. There's no titanium white in the 1880s. Sorry. It didn't happen. And then they go nuts. But I love to see them backpedal. It's a stream, really. Oh, Jesus, hilarious. It always reminds me of those people who used to come on TV years ago and say they could, Shirley MacLaine, they could channel the Pharaoh's servant or some damn thing, until they finally started outing them on TV, and it was all over. God, it was a scream. I'm going to channel Ramses. All right. Oh, is that what Ramsey says now? Anyway, it never, ever ends. P.T. Barnum was right. He really was. There's a sucker born every minute. And these guys are modern day snake oil salesmen. That's what they are. I smell in the dawn. I actually was today going to get into the below her neck here, but obviously I'm not. I got her lips and her eyes done, so I'm not unhappy. Haven't quite finished with her lips, however. Not quite. There's still a tad to go. That's kind of why I like Russell, because pure talent, you know, like just a pure talent for portraiture, you know, like there's no bullshit. Stands there and knocks off the portrait. And for that, that's a good thing, right? I mean, oh, come on. All my paint dried up. Oh my God. Blast you. Even that little batch now is dry. I'll tell you, it's sure an education. Okay. See you, Jen. In the spring. da 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 I saw Paris in the moonlight. Da, 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 in the moonlight. And Paris in the moonlight. I saw Paris in the moonlight. I saw Paris in the moonlight. Well, folks, that's it for me tonight. Thank you for watching. It's been a slice